Hello, my name is Barry Schwartz, and this is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is Friday, January 22nd, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search and Roundtable at seroundtable.com. First up, the Google real-time Penguin algorithm, codenamed Penguin 4.0, should be launching hopefully within weeks, definitely within the quarter, I think. Although Google has told us things like that before, it probably should launch within weeks, and that's what Gary from Google said just recently this week. So we'll see if that actually happens. There were definitely extreme Google search fluctuations this past weekend. Again, Google said it wasn't Penguin, it was related to the core algorithm. It had nothing to do with Penguin. So that's, again, something that we've seen this weekend, and we'll see if that continues going forward. Google's Andrei, I can't pronounce his last name, he's basically the Russian senior search quality strategist. He also speaks fluent English, and he basically went through and discuss what does the core algorithm mean. And he basically gave the same example as Gary regarding the car engine and how the starter works with it. And basically what it means is that now that Panda is so tested and been around for such a long time, it simply just works. And you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to think about it. It just works. Just like that, now that it's part of the core algorithm, it just works. They don't have to really worry about it so much. It shouldn't be tweaked in the future. It should just run and do its job. And he goes through in detail about why it's so hard for Google to actually go ahead and confirm certain updates. You know, is it a certain amount of line changes to the code, or small tweaks, are they larger tweaks? And he goes through several examples about, data processing, crawling changes, and so forth. You should definitely watch this video. It goes through a lot of things in detail about how Google does updates, what they consider updates, what they don't, and so forth. So it's pretty detailed. You should definitely take a look at that. So we have all these weather reports with all these things going on around Google's updates and so forth. And you have Mozcast, you have AccuRanker, you have AlGuru, you have tons of these, Rank Ranger, and all these other tools out there. I'm not going to go through all of them. And I asked, you always see like Googlers get upset when you use these as a reference. So I asked John Mueller said in the Hangout last week, he made a reference that basically saying, I suspect many of the SEO weather type tools out there are tracking things in a different way than we would look at it. So that's something where there may be something that overall doesn't really have big effects that is still picked up by them, but we don't consider them big. Then I asked Gary, do you think some SEO weather tools out there pick up on the wrong things? And he said yes. So we had a bunch of responses about, what are these SEO ranking tools and so forth. So we had Rank Ranger respond, AlGuru respond, AccuRanker respond. So definitely take a look at their responses. And we also have a rare guest post from Dr. Pete Myers from Moz, who wrote the Mozcast tool, who gave a long synopsis on measuring the wrong signals, what does Google care about, what we care about, and so forth. And it's definitely worth the read if you definitely use these tools and so forth. And of course, Google doesn't want us to fixate over these types of things, but I like to cover this stuff, and I think it's important for SEOs to be on top of the Google changes. So Google recently, so a lot of people have been noticing hacked and spammy content in the Google search results recently. They've been complaining about it more vocally recently. And Google said that really has nothing to do with any Google update around payday loans or maybe Panda or anything like that. It just sounds coincidental. Probably has nothing to do with any of those updates. That's what John Mueller said. So again, it doesn't change the fact that a lot of SEOs and webmasters and searchers are noticing more spammy and hacked content in the Google search results, which is pretty sad to hear. Google News said they may ignore your sitemap file if, in the timestamping your sitemap file, if they find that you're abusing it. So some publishers, and we've caught the USA Today and BBC tricking Google News to think the story was written now as opposed to a day ago or hours ago. And they might keep updating the timestamp of the post on the web page itself, as well as in the timestamp of the XML file. So Google's aware of that, and hopefully they're going to be cracking down on different publishers who are doing that. It seems like they are currently. Google said there's no ranking boost in the organic web search results for being a Google News publisher. It doesn't give you more authority or anything like that. It just has no ranking value at all. Google revamped the Google Webmaster portal. And what I mean by that is that they made the whole thing look prettier, much more organized and fun to look at. So this is a GIF of it. They also added 3 new tools to it. Webmaster troubleshooter to help you go through certain questions that you might have found. Popular resources that get more visits than most resources in their system, as well as an event calendar showing you upcoming hangouts and so forth with Googlers. So definitely take a look at the new Google Webmaster place. It looks like a lot of people are finding new content that really isn't new, but they're finding content for the first time that they haven't seen before because it's more well organized. Google's been sending out more notifications around Google Search Console. Confirmation that a new site was added, that data has been starting to track. I got one about app install buttons being tracked now, which started a few weeks ago anyway, but I got it yesterday. And here's another one that basically says you changed your email settings, or email settings has been changed by Google. So Google's Search Console has been sending out many more notifications around changes in the Google Search Console panel. Google is now showing AMP-related errors in the Google Search Console. Even if you don't have the Google Search, even if you don't use AMP, you're not using this new accelerated mobile pages, you'll still have it on the left-hand side on the search analytics for AMP errors, and it basically will show you like a promotion, say, go with AMP. This is what it kind of looks like. If you have errors, it might show you the specific error issues and so forth. So that's pretty cool. I do hope to experiment with AMP in the near future and let you guys know how that goes. Google said title tags, John Mueller said title tags are definitely not the most critical aspect of your SEO. You don't necessarily need it for Google to understand what the content's about on the web page. You don't necessarily need it for Google to index the content or to rank the content, but you do need body content, John Mueller said. So he would say body content is more critical than title tags, but as most SEOs know, title tags definitely help and influence the ranking of that page in a very, very significant way. So basically critical in terms of, is it critical to rank for, and could Google do without it? And the answer is yes, but it's definitely something that SEOs, in my opinion, should not ignore. Google is testing the ability for you to install apps, specifically on Android devices, directly in the search results. Google, I think Android Police, or one of the bloggers from Android Police spotted this. Basically what happens is if you go to the search results on your Android phone and you see an app and there's an install button, you click it and it actually starts to install, which is pretty cool. It saves you one step for installing apps for Android users. It's now officially live for any website that is HTTPS by default. The Google cache link will actually now be HTTPS by default and lead you to the HTTPS version of the Google cache. Gary confirmed that it's 100% live in the search results as of earlier this week. Google is testing an expandable product listing ads format, which shows up to 16 product listing ads on a single search results page. This came from Channel Advisor. It has to be expanded, so obviously there is intent. I want to see more product listing ads, but it looks kind of like this with all these 16 ads. So there's always this debate in the SEO community. Does Google really care about small businesses? Do they really care about webmasters, especially the ones that are hit by these penalties? People believe that they don't care because it takes them forever to go ahead and update the Penguin algorithm, the Panda algorithms, and manual actions can last a long time. And it's not fair because these are small businesses that are going out of business because Google penalized them, and they penalized them for a really, really long time because they haven't updated their algorithms. To take into account the impact or the changes this webmaster made in order to, I guess, repent and come back in the search results. So Andre, again, from Google, went ahead and said, yes, we do care. You definitely want to listen to this. He says there's a tremendous responsibility on both ends around, one, obviously the search results being quality, but also there are small businesses, and these small businesses do need to pay their employees so they could feed their families and so forth. And Google understands that, and he says we take tremendous responsibility and care around that. But at the same time, there also are searchers that they have to consider as well. So definitely listen to that. You may disagree or agree. There's tons of comments there with rants and so forth, as you would expect on my blog, but it's an interesting topic nevertheless. Gary Ilias from Google basically says he doesn't lie. People have been saying, hey, it seems like you're lying. You said there will be a Penguin update this time, that time, and the other time. He says he doesn't lie. People misinterpret what he's saying or mangle what he's saying. I do that sometimes. I will take what he says and imply certain things. Of course, that's what I do. But he basically said, I don't mind mangling with words, but lying is not my cup of beer. And of course, there's lots of comments about that comment, and I don't think he lies, personally. He's a good guy. Finally, Google has paid Apple $1 billion in 2014 to be their iOS search partner, to include the search bar in Safari, mobile Safari, defaults to Google. That's a $1 billion investment in 2014, and they believe they kept it for 2015, and they hopefully will keep it for 2016 and so forth. Some people say that's like 34% of the revenue that either Google or Apple. It's unclear whose share of the revenue is 34%. Is Google taking 34% or is Apple taking 30-40%? So we'll see. It's very interesting, and it's a lot of money. In any event, thanks so much for listening to the Search Buzz video recap. My name, again, is Barry Schwartz, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Roundtable at seroundtable.com over the past week. Again, today is Friday, January 22nd. Everyone have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next. Bye.